We commissioned ICM to do a public opinion survey about whether non-violent female offenders should go to prison. And 2/3 of the respondents said that they didn't believe that prison was likely to reduce reoffending. And 3/4 of them felt that mothers who commit non-violent crime shouldn't be separated from their children by imprisonment.
So this is mothers, not women. This is mothers.
This is, yeah, they were asked about mothers. They were also asked about women who shoplift to feed a drug problem, and whether prison actually work for non-violent female offenders.
Okay, we're focusing here on the whole question of motherhood, aren't we?
Yeah.
Can I just ask, what, this is what I believe. I've covered, when I was a news reporter up north, I've covered loads of these kind of stories, but most women who are in jail, they are in jail, aren't they, for things because they're mentally ill?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, 3/4 of female offenders are major drug addicts, have alcohol problems and have got mental illnesses. These women aren't evil, bad and dangerous. They're very damaged and they're very vulnerable. Prison doesn't work because it doesn't change their offending behaviour. It's also extremely expensive, and often it's an expensive way of making them worse because we're not tackling the causes and we're not dealing with their offending behaviour.
OK, before we bring Nick in on this, I mean, you probably can't answer this, but supposing you'd asked the same question about, say, young fathers. Do you think you would have had a sympathetic response, like 2/3 would have said no, they shouldn't go to jail?
Yeah, I mean...
what do you think?
Yeah, we're not saying that women should be treated differently to men, but there is a specific issue about women who are mothers.
OK,
but there's a lot of men in prison with drug problems and mental health problems too.
OK, young father steals his third car, right, goes to jail, leaving 2 kids with no one to look after them. Young mother, I don't know, signs her third fake cheque. And goes to jail. Are you saying that they should be that neither of them should go to jail?
Well, I think we've got to look at what works in terms of reducing their criminal activity. For many of those people, men and women, it isn't actually going to make their offending behaviour any better.
Let's keep it to... No, what do you think, Nick?
Well-intentioned but intellectually bankrupt tosh. If you think of something like a woman who is a drug dealer, she is actually selling the drugs on the street in a part of London not a million miles from where we are now, where families are still mourning and coming to terms with the fact that their teenage children have been killed because of turf wars. Anybody who's involved in that, regardless of whether you're a young mum, an old dad, I don't care. If you're a supplier or a dealer, you're going to prison for a long time.
But if you're a mother of young children and you don't have a husband or he's in jail or something and those children are then taken into care, what you're doing is storing up problems for the next generation.
So are you saying that that drug dealer stays out of prison?
No, I'm saying that I think there should be alternatives for women because they are not usually violent offenders.
But not for men. Let's stick with his example. I mean...
The drug dealer,
well,
absolutely.
Drug dealers, male drug dealers often are violent.
Nobody's saying people shouldn't be punished.
Yeah.
What we're saying is that prison is a really, really ineffective and expensive way of punishing people. It doesn't work.
Yes, it does. It takes them off the street. It takes the dealers off the streets. Never mind what happens to the woman. They're not dealing.
Really, that is stupid. You're putting them back on the street worse than they were before. And you're putting their kids back on the street in 20 years' time.
But it's taken the supply of drugs off the street. It's like this crazy judge saying killers are being locked up for too long.
There'll be more coming along behind them. You take these people, you put them inside, there'll be more to take.
Certainly will if they don't go to prison.
My
God, there'll be a queue a mile long.
What do people learn in prison? They learn how to be better criminals. Prisons are universities of crime. So you're in prison with...
You can apply that to men and women, can't you?
I agree with you, Richard.
But that's not what your survey's about, and that's not what we're talking about. If you like, and a lot of people will disagree or agree with this, we're talking about a special dispensation because this is a woman.
No,
so in a sense, she's almost hiding and being because she's almost she's almost hiding and being allowed to screen herself from prison because she has children.
Is it special dispensation for a woman not to hang her because she's pregnant? No, it isn't. It's saying that there's another person involved here. And nobody's saying special dispensation.
Well, we don't hang anybody these days.
No, I know, but you could argue 200 years ago, oh, special dispensation for a woman not hanging a pregnant... But hang on, Richard, nobody's saying... I don't think non-violent men should go to prison. I think prison is stupid. The only thing it does, as Nick has said, the only thing it does is get people off the street for a limited
What should we do with them then?
If I repeatedly steal cars, if I'm a career car thief, I should never go to prison.
I'm not saying you shouldn't be punished. But what is the point of sending people to prison if it doesn't work?
Actually, it stops my car being nicked by the bloke who keeps nicking
it. But that bloke who nicks your car is going to go to prison and learn how to be better. How to be better at nicking your car.
It's costing you more as a taxpayer than buying a new car.
And let's face it,
£40,000 a year.
How many people who nick cars are ever caught and imprisoned in the first place?
So car thieves shouldn't go to prison?
Why? What for?
You've just highlighted it, haven't you? It's not thought out properly. It is
not.
What are you going to have them doing? Making baskets?
No, not at all.
Okay, Richard, what is the point? What's the point? Let's get right back down to basics. What's the point of sending a car thief to prison?
He stops him nicking my car.
For about 6 months or a year.
But what about when that young person...
He's going to come out in a year and nick your car again, and it's cost you as a taxpayer £40,000 to keep him in for 1 year.
Well, don't get me started on where our tax money goes, but what about burglars then? What about non-violent burglars?
But let's go back to... Let's go back a bit.
Stop them burgling.
If we don't realise... Well done.
Listen. I think you two are deliberately pushing us into something we're not saying.
We're pushing you into a logical...
There are two issues. One is that prison doesn't work for certain types of prisoners. The other is that if you send a mother of young children to prison and her children have to go into care, you are not only punishing the children as well as the mother, you are also storing up...
And I think Nick would...
Then don't do the crime. Then don't do the crime.
Child didn't do the crime.
That's unfortunate.
But also, let's go back a bit. Let's look at, OK, here we've got a car thief, right? That car thief used to be...
Make it a burglar.
All right, a burglar, right. That burglar used to be a young kid, and that young kid got himself into a situation where he was probably excluded from school, was in care, started offending, nobody did anything. He goes to a young offenders institution where he learns how to be better at what he does. We are then spending millions of pounds on him during his life. We've got to look at early intervention. That is a start.
That's not gender specific.
At one point... No, I know, it's not gender specific, but this is a big issue. This isn't just about women, as I said.
But you're making a start with young mothers, aren't you? What about making a start with young fathers? Do you think young fathers who commit, say, a violent offence shouldn't go to jail?
The mother has a different, closer relationship.
Nobody's saying people who are violent
shouldn't go to jail. The mother has a close relationship.
The mother does have a close relationship.
In all cases.
The fact that young fathers shouldn't go to jail either is no reason to send young mothers to jail. But let's start with the people who matter most. However much we may want to be egalitarian about this, some things are more important even than equality and equal rights and so on and so forth. And children are more important even than equal rights. And we all know that on average, women have more effect on their children than fathers do. I'm not saying that's right, and I'm not saying that young fathers should go to prison. But we all know that it's much more likely children are going to be taken into care if their mothers go to prison.
Should we see what women on the street had to say about this today?
Unfortunately. I think anyone who commits a crime should go to jail, yeah.
I mean, if you commit the same crime, then arguably you should get the same sentence.
I feel that both sexes, whether you're man or woman, should go to jail. It shouldn't matter.
I think having children should be taken into account, but I don't think it's a strong enough reason for them not to go to prison.
Obviously, if by a mum being removed from the family is going to create a bigger situation with children have to go into care, etc., then I think it should be taken into consideration. Because in this day and age, it is the women who normally keep the families together.
It's like for me, I've got no kids, and just because I've got no kids, I'll go to prison, whereas someone the same age who's got kids will get off of it.
So,
not right.
Yeah. So, you know, there's a clear majority feeling that...
Yeah, but what you've explained this, that we're saying that women should get different treatment to men. We're not saying that. We're saying there's a particular issue about women with children.
Yeah, but you'd like women not to go to jail if they have a non-criminal offence and they have children. Sorry, I beg your pardon, a non-violent offence.
Yeah.
And they have children. Well, come on, in a nutshell, you're saying don't send them to jail. It's not fair on the child.
We are saying that because we're saying there's better ways of dealing with them so that they are less likely to commit crime.
All right, Nick, do you want to sum up?
What a terrible example for the children. That they see that their mother's involved as a drug dealer, and guess what? It doesn't matter because all she has to do is make raffia baskets or paint old people's fences or something like that. Bang her up as a good lesson.
What we're saying, nobody's saying you shouldn't be punished. There are other ways.
We think that
you've not actually said because you don't know.
We think these women should be dealing with the reasons why they're offending and doing doing compulsory work in the community to pay back for what they've done instead of sitting around in a prison cell for 23 hours a day doing nothing. How is that going to change that woman? Sitting around doing nothing.
I'm afraid
it doesn't work like that.
I'm afraid that was very stimulating. First time I've ever got away with saying stop.
There's a clear gender divide on this one.
Yeah, there is. Because we're nicer than you.
No,
yeah,
more anyway, we've got to move on.
More sensible.
Okay. Jane Austen, dear.
Okay,
Very
I just think that if I had a son who committed the kind of crimes we're talking about and was sent to jail, and I saw that the girl who lives next door, who committed identical crimes but had a baby, didn't go to jail, I could see, of course I can see what you're saying, but I think that was unjust. And I wouldn't necessarily think that...
We're not saying that.
We're not saying that. Judy's right, we're not saying that.